Hello everyone, welcome to PRATHAM Test Prep. I'm Ashish Bhargav, and due to some technical reason that this class is available on Zoom, so I'm sorry for the inconvenience, and I hope you guys are doing well. So welcome to the daily news analysis, and one more request: if you are new in this channel, please subscribe the channel as well. So in daily newspaper analysis, as we know that we discuss about all the important news that we cover in this session, and mostly we covered from the Hindu and Indian Express. Apart from that, as we know that in daily newspaper analysis that we discuss about national news, international news, economy-based news, sports-based news, science and tech, personal news, summits and conference, miscellaneous, national and international news, and one more thing that we can say apart from that, we discuss about Supreme Court verdict, which is very very important because in your exam that they will ask to you frequently. And here's the quote of the day: is if your voice is high, only a few people will hear. If your thought is high, then many people will listen. And to inculcate this thought process, you need to develop to read the newspaper on a daily basis. And just one small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. That is quote of the Dalai Lama. Study hard, no matter if it seems impossible, no matter if it takes time, no matter if you have to up all night. Just remember that the feeling of success is the best thing in the entire world. And now as we have taken initiative at the questions of the day, so at the end of the session, they'll will ask to you 3 to 5 questions, which is very very important. So until unless you will not practice the questions, you will not get to know that how much efforts you are taking and what kind of how you are facing the MCQs. Because sometimes you gather the information, but you are unable to solve the questions. The reason behind that, because of the only one reason that sometimes you have a lack of revision also. And one thing that we can say that like you are unable to solve the question because of you trap in such kind of dilemma as well, right? So now moving further, here is the very first news is, and the news is something we talk about like what is what is 2022 US defense strategy means for India. So as we know that the recently released national defense strategy by the United States offering a striking opportunity to advance and deepen bilateral defense cooperation. But NDS, which is we can say national defense strategy, and that explicitly marks China as a we can say as facing challenge. And one more thing that India is Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, which is somehow is dependent to the nation, and the US NDC protects all the ambitions of the coherent vision to secure American interest by deterring Chinese aggressions. So if India is, we can say, is not prioritizing their own security, so that China can own that part also. So it is important to remember that the degree of sharing will be intertwined with the willingness of the two countries to make common cause of joint capabilities and planning, and the US will collaborate on technology development with partners must willing to share deterrence burdens, right? So this provides an opening for India, right? So what which can King sought to a high technology defense partnership with the US as well. Now moving further to the next article is demonetization. So there are many pros and cons that has mentioned in this article. So if you look at very carefully, so that has mentioned that how the court has taken demonetization that was illegal, that was illegal. So we have to think in that context. So this was, I know that there are kind of many pros and cons. There are many consequences that the country has found in the terms of demonetization is concerned. So demonetization is basically that we can say is a in that time the country's PM Modi once said that 1,000 2,000 rupees note that will not count as a legal tender. So legal tender, which means that in a territory of a country, in a territory of India, nobody can accept this in a form of debt. So that is known to be a legal tender. So we have to think about the many MSME sector, medium sector, micro enterprises was suffered due to the demonetization. So on two occasions, the part 1946 to 1978, that we can say 1978, high demonetization bank notes were, demonetized through an ordinance that was replaced by an act of parliament. So parliament have a sovereign authority. Parliament have sovereign authority to, we can say, demonetize the currency. So, so there can be no doubt that the central government won the legal battle on the demonetization by a 4-1 verdict of a constitutional bench of the Honorable Supreme Court rejected all the contentious of the petitions. So the legal dimension, what did the court hold on the 6 questions? That is not to be important to understand the what exactly the 6 questions is, but we have to understand that court made it some observation that will internet that will interest the reader of the questions, the whether the objective of demonetizations were achieved or not, right? And we have to understand it very deeply. Like court said that it did not have the expertise, said that it did not have the expertise go into the questions on the hardship faced by the people, and court said that merely because some citizens have, we can say, have get advantage, some citizen was not get advantage. So we can say the economic dimension, and court declined to go to into the wisdom of demonetizations or whether the economic consequences. So our country faced many economic consequences and that time, at the time of demonetization. Moving further to the next article is going global. So now UGC, which is University Grant Commission, University Grants Commission. So University Grant Commission decision to allow foreign university to set up campuses in India, and the court heralds long overdue transformation in the country higher education. So the national education policy, and it was launched in 2020. That seems to have, given impetus to the idea of globalizing education. It talks about the facilitating the world's top 100 university to operate in the country. And what exactly it says the UGC new rules. So UGC University Grants Commission says that new rules aims at, bigger basket university that would be participate in the global ranking, that will require a place in the top of 500 set of campuses in India. And while those that do not participate in such ranking will need to be reputed in their countries. So as we have to understand that what exactly other organization says about the establishment of university in India. So if you talk about UNESCO, so according to UNESCO Institute of Statistics, India is the second largest exporter of students with more than 4.5 lakh students studying abroad. Satellite campuses can bring in much needed ideas in realms as diverse as technology, health, business studies, arts, and humanities. In the long run, they could not become harbingers of vibrant educational hubs in the country. Moving to the next article is PMO revisit. PMO reviews situations in sinking Joshinath Dawn. So what exactly the bone of contention is there. So residents of Joshimath, the Himalayan pilgrimage town that appears to be sinking, and blaming major powers and road infrastructure project for the plight and demanding that the government resettle and give new homes for all those who have lost their properties in the town. So we have to understand what is the importance of this place, that Joshimath. So as you know that India is a land of scent, and here is a part of, we can see, Atharveda, is a Rig Veda, Yajurveda, and Samveda. So 4 Vedic math that was established by the Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharya. So we have to be understand these things. Next one is that the Pak National Army 5 named by NIA in Ludhiana blast case. The news is not too much important, but yes, we have to understand what is what exactly the NIA is. So NIA is something that we can say national investigation agencies, and national investigation agency, if you talk about, that comes under, we can say, National Investigation Agency Act 2008, and it is a central agency to investigate and prosecute offenses. affecting the sovereignty, security, and integrity of India, security of state, and friendly relations with foreign states against atomic and nuclear facility. So, what kind of questions in your MCQ they can be formed? So they can form that like that National Investigation Agency is established by NIAT and it comes under Ministry of Home Affairs. So they will ask you in your exam that it comes under which ministry. And we can say its main function is smuggling high quality counterfeit Indian currency. It implements international treaties, agreements, conventions, and resolution of the United Nations, its agencies and other international organizations. And its objective is also to combat terror in India, and it acts as a central counterterrorism law enforcement agency. Where is the headquarters of NIA? So headquarters is New Delhi. The branches in Hyderabad, Guwahati, Kochi, Lucknow, Mumbai, Kolkata, Raipur, and Jammu. Moving to the next news is, and one more thing that for prosecuting the accused under Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967, the UAPA, certain other scheduled offences and an agency seeks the sanctions of the central government. So the sanction is granted under UAPA based on a report of the authority that is constituted under section 45 of the UAPA. Moving to the next one. Here it is. Avoid further delay in the census. So we have to understand that who conducts census in our country. So in February 1961, so it has the writer is somehow is retired from Indian Statistical Service, is asking about and sharing the ideas. But recently, the newspaper reported that the freezing of administrative boundaries that precede the census would be done with effect from 1st July 2023. And such a freezing is necessary as state government are in the habit of creating new districts and tehsils of reorganizing existing ones. So we have to understand what is census, what is the importance of census, and we can see the constitution talks about the use of census data for delimitations of the constituencies and the determining of quantum observation reservation for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe in our country. However, we can say that it does not say that it should be periodicity of census. The Census Act 1948, the Census Act 1948, with predicts that constitution provides the legal background for several activities relating to the census without mentioning anything about its periodicity. It said the central government may declare its intention of taking a census. So what are the implications of the delay? The census can alone provide population data for every village and town in the country. Sample survey can provide reliable data on social and demographic indicators only at higher geographical level. And apart from the population is concerned, population count at the census has also been providing data on population characteristics, housing, and amenities. So we have to understand this, like the rural urban distribution of population has been rapidly changes over the years. Over the period of times we have seen that many changes occurred in the populations. And one thing that we can say that there is high population growth in the urban areas. Some cities have been growing faster than others through the in migration. And the main cause of migration, as we know, that is a cause of recently COVID outbreak in somewhere in the 2020. So there is high population growth in the urban areas. Some cities have been growing faster, others through in the migrations. So the pandemic resulted in deaths among adults and aged relatively more than children. Its impact on age distribution in severely affected areas would be, interest, and as it would give an indirect estimates for the number of deaths. This would either validate or reject the various estimates and number of deaths due to pandemic. So we have to now understand the census importance. So if you talk about census 2021, who conducts? So post 1949, it has been conducted by Registrar General and Census of India. That comes under Ministry of Home Affairs. And all the censuses since 1951 were conducted under the 1948 Census of India Act. The last census was held in 2011, while the next will be this year in 2021. So census 2011, the latest one, Census 2011 was the 15th national census of the country since 1872 and a seventh after independence. And census, how it was done in the ancient in medieval India. So the earliest literature, Rig Veda, reveals that some kind of population count was maintained in during 800 to 600 BC in India, and that celebrated Arthashastra by Kautilya, written in 3rd century BC, prescribed the collection of population statistics as a measure of state policy for taxation. It contained a detailed description of method of conducting population, economic, and agriculture censuses. During the regime of Mughal King Akbar, the administrative report in a Akbari that was included, that is somehow comprehensive data pertaining population indicators and other characteristics. So while moving further, if you go into the details, how the census that was held in the modern time, so we can say that the first complete census in India that was conducted in 1830 by Henry Walton in Dhaka, which is now in Bangladesh. So India at that time, in this census, statistics for population with sex, broad age group, and the we can say houses with their amenities were collected. So is there any new thing that we occurred in the 2021 census? And my question is yes. So for the first time, the data will be collected digitally via mobile application, and there will be a provision for working in offline mode also. And the census 2021 will be conducted in 18 languages out of 22 scheduled languages under 8 schedule of the Constitution. And English, while census 2011 was in 16 of the 22 scheduled language declared at that time. So it will also introduce a code directory of streamlined process, and the options of other under the gender category will be charged to third gender also, that will count in this census. And there are roughly 5 lakh people under other category in 2011. And for the first time in the 140 years history of census in India, data is prepared to be collected through a mobile app by enumerators, and they will receive an additional payment as an incentive. And this census would be available by the year 2024, 2025, as the entire process would be conducted digitally and data crunching would be quicker. This is all about the article is. Moving to the next article, here is the next article is talking about making healthy choice the easier one. So this article basically talking about fruits and vegetables and what was the outcome and all. So basically talking about there is a we can say commercial interest, like the food industry or powerful interest group. And food is we can say the food industry, some items are very perishables. So along with improving awareness of people about making healthy choice, we also need to educate relevant stakeholders working with restaurant to promote healthier preparation of food, preventing multiple reheating of oils, lower oils, salt and sugar that was during preparation of making available. Small promotion of some example, like as we know that India has not really explored these multifaceted policy intervention, right? So to address this issue, the diet and physical activity choices that must should be. So we have used similar approaches effectively in modifying other behavior, like promoting safer sex, use of toilets. Many best practices exist globally which need to be synthesized and shared with the policymakers. Even within the public health fraternity also, there is a need for building capacity in planning, implementing, and evaluating these interventions ultimately. Now moving to the next article is younger diabetes and rise in most states. As we know that in 5 states, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Goa, and Tripura, have 8% of men whose age is below 35 and random blood glucose with 140 milligram per decile mgdl, according to the National Family Health Survey data. This is very matter of very serious concern if you talk about the below the age of 35, if the person is affecting from the diabetes. So what should be done for this? So what are the relative initiative for this? The National Program for Prevention of Control of Cancer, Diabetes, Cardiovascular Disease, and Stroke. So in order to prevent the control measure and NCD. This initiative was launched by India in 2010 with focus on strengthening infrastructure, human resource development, health promotion, early diagnosis, management, and referral. So important takeaways for the exam is World Diabetes Day, and it is observed on 14th November every year. The 2022 campaign will focus on access to diabetes education as well. And Global Diabetes Compact is WHO World Health Organization launches a global diabetes compact to better fight the disease while marking the centenary of the discovery of insulin. And can foreign universities set up campuses in India now? So somehow we have discussed this article, I think. So what is the UGC propose? UGC announced the draft regulation setting up an orientation of campuses and foreign high education institution in India. So we have to understand that UGC University Grants Commission announced the draft regulations for setting up the orientation of campuses of foreign higher education institute in India. And this proposal allows a foreign university among the top 500 global ranking of a foreign educational institution of repute in its home jurisdiction to apply to the UGC to set up campuses in India. And what is the objective in promoting India as a global? The objective is simple, that India as a global education destination is to primarily save loss of foreign exchange. Now moving to the despite SC order, single women denied abortion. So when Mumbai-based Shalini that walked to the state-run JJ hospital in December, the story is not more important, but we have to understand that what is abortion laws in India that we have discussed many times in the newspaper analysis. So MPT Act, which clearly says that the abortion law in India have come to long way, but there is always room for change as a recent development show. So the MTP Act 2021 introduced a key change by Section 3 of extending the upper limit of termination of pregnancy from 20 to 24 weeks for the special categories. And the top court, went a step further, ruling that marital status should not be a barrier for women to seek an abortion up to 24 weeks of pregnancy. So we have to understand that what is the abortion law in India. So if you talk about medical termination of pregnancy rules, so recently the government has notified new rules under medical termination of pregnancy Amendment Act 2021, and the 2021 Act was passed to amend the Medical Termination Pregnancy Act 1971, and that was increased gestational limit, and the gestational limit for termination of pregnancy has been increased from 20 to 24 weeks of the certain category of women, and the 7 specific category, which is survival or sex assault or rape or incest, change for marital status during the ongoing pregnancy, and which is mentally ill women. So fetal in malformation that has substantial risk of being incompatible with life when the child is born. So he or she, may suffer from serious physical or mental abnormalities. So women with pregnancy in humanitarian setting or disaster or emergency situation, and a state level medical board also is there for the decide if the pregnancy may be terminated after 24 weeks in case of fetal malformation. So what was the related issue is? So issue is something, although new rules have increased access to some extent, they fail to correct a fundamental flaw in the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, that act a woman does not have a basic right to terminate a pregnancy if or and when she decides. So the formation of a state medical board raises additional concern, about their access, particularly to women from rural areas, and the act requires abortion to be performed only by doctors with a specialization in gynecology or obstetrics. So as there is 75% shortage of such doctors in community health center in rural areas, pregnant women may continue to find it difficult to access facility for safe abortion. And as we know that we have discussed many times about MPT Act 1971 to 21. So in the recent amendments, unmarried women are also covered. 24 weeks of rape survivors beyond 24 weeks for substantial fetal abnormalities, 1 RMP till 20 weeks, and fine and imprisonment for 1 year. Now it's time to questions of the day. So now we discuss about questions of the day. That is very, very important. Here is the very first question. Question is, which of the following adopted a law on data protection and privacy of its citizen known as General Data Protection Regulation? And here are the options: Australia, Canada, European Union, United States of America. So we can say the General Data Protection Regulation is a regulation in European Union law on the data protection and privacy in the European Union and the European Economic Area. And GDPR is an important component of EU privacy law and of human rights law, in particular Article 8 of the Charter of Fundamental Rights of the European Union. Moving to the next one. Which one of the following state is the host of Purple Fest celebrating diversity? So Karnataka, Kerala, Goa, and Sikkim. So we know the answer is C option. So the Purple Fest Goa, it is the first of its kind inclusive festival in India that embraces, expresses, and celebrates persons with disabilities, and that aimed at furthering the spirit of inclusions. And Purple Fest will feature a variety of exciting live performances, sporting events, grand exhibitions, immersive experience zones, accessible moving screening, and discussions on vital subjects like inclusive education, tourism, employment, and independent living. Now, next third is Eat Right Station certification is awarded by, and it is awarded by Bureau of Indian Standards, Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, FSSAI, Quality Council of India, and none of the above. So that was the answer is, guys, try to give the answer to do it yourself. So that will give you, once you are solving the question, that gives you an immense idea that how you are trapping and how you will solve the questions. So answer is Food Safety and Standard Authority of India. So the Eat Right Station certification is awarded by FSSAI to railway station that set benchmark in providing safe and wholesome food to passengers. And the apex food regulatory body comes under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Now moving to the next one. Phytoid technology that was recently in news is related to what? Producing nuclear fusion energy, facial recognition technology, wastewater treatment plant, and temperature data logger for cold chain management. So that the answer is wastewater treatment plant. So Municipal Corporation of Tirupati, MCT, will be, establishing India's largest liquid waste treatment plant, and the plant will adopt phytoid technology for its operation. Phytoid technology involves the treatment of wastewater under a sedimentation process to eliminate solid matter, after which the water is made to flow in the serpentine motion into a subsurface chamber containing multiple barricades. And here is the last question, guys, and try to give the answer. See, for the initially 20 seconds, take your time to solve it yourself. If you're unable to solve the question, so it's obvious that like I will tell you that what exactly the right answer. So questions is Parsanath Parvat recently in news is located in Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, Karnataka, Rajasthan, as you know, is an issue of Jharkhand. So many Jain monks is starting to tell that it's a must be an place for the tourism. So leaders of many faiths have joined hands to save the hill that the Jain community considers sacred, and the outcry is against the Jharkhand government decision that could not change the demographic of visitors of Samit Shikharji at Parsavnath Parvat. It was believed that, Parsavnath Parvat is a part of ecotourism of any kind of tourism, and it is believed that 20 of the 24 Tirthankars, which we can say a founder of Jainism. So main 24th Tirthankar is that is Bardhaman Mahavir, who founded the, we can say, is Jainism. And after attain moksha, salvation here, the hill itself is named after Parasnath, 24th Tirthankar. So this is all about the session, student, and I hope you enjoyed the session a lot. If you have any questions regarding this session, please let me know in the comment section. And if you are new in this channel, do not forget to press the bell icon and subscribe the channel as well. And you will get the notification of all the Pratham Test Prep mentors. And I hope you have enjoyed the session a lot. We'll meet you tomorrow at the same time at 11:30 a.m. Stay tuned. अपना ख्याल रखें, सुरक्षित रखें. मिलते हैं कल इसी टाइम में 11:30. Thank you so much for joining with us. Bye bye and take care, guys. We'll meet you tomorrow at the same time. Thank you so much for joining with us.